Today we're going to talk about Venn diagrams and its association with probability. So let's just go through some of the notation that we need. E, this little sign is the Greek letter epsilon. It stands for universal set. Everything, all the elements that we're talking about will go in this subset, which we put in a rectangle in a Venn diagram. A, that's one of the sets within our Venn diagram. So we might be talking about students who choose art, for our example. They will sit in the set A. When we've got A dash, that means the complement of A, so those not in A. So we use a dash to represent the complement. This symbol here means intersection. So we're looking at those students that have the overlap, the intersection between certain sets. So if we were looking at A intersection B, we will look for the overlap. Sometimes you might want to think of it as the A and B. So you might think of that as being and. This is the union, and this is where we talk about or. So it might be that we've got art and biology, two sets, and we want those that are in A or B. A union B means A or B. So we would be looking at those students in either A or B. I'm going to draw a Venn diagram to represent the scenario over here. We've got 20 students in a class, 5 study art, 9 study biology, and 2 study both. And then we're going to find these things here. So the first thing we need to do is place everything in the universal set in a rectangle. So there are 20 students in our universal set. So we use just a rectangle. You'll draw yours much neater than mine. I always put the E at the top, so that's everybody in there. All right, I got a set. I'm going to use A for art and B for biology. So you'd usually define that, say A equals art, B is biology. Not sure about bio. Okay. So I'm going to use a circle for each one. So let's do one circle for art, put a lay at the top, and then we'll do the second circle for biology. And there is this overlap. That overlap is our intersection, and we can see here that two students out of our class study both art and biology. So we will put the 2 students in here. Now altogether 5 students study art. Well, art is this whole circle here. This has to add up to 5. There's already 2 in there. That means to make 5, there must be 3 that only study art. 9 students study biology, and again we've got the 2 there, so 2 plus the 7 means that there are 9 students who are studying biology in our circle. Of course, there's a class of 20 altogether, and our 20 students have to be in there, which means there are some students who do not study either art or biology. So we add them up. 3 and 7 makes the 10, plus the 2 is 12. Subtract from 20 must mean there are 8 students who don't study either art or biology. So let's use this now to work out these. A intersection B. So we're looking for the overlap. So that's this section here. So we can just write there are 2 students that are in A intersection B. Not A and not B. So if they're not in A and they're not in B, they have to be outside the sets. So it's 8 students who are not in A and not in B. A union B means they must be in either A or B. So we have a look at how many students we have in A and how many students we have in B altogether. So we've got 5 here, plus the 7 means there are 12 students in either A or B. So now I'm going to move our Venn diagram. I've just made this a little bit smaller. It's the same Venn diagram with art and biology. I'll just put art and biology in there. Now I've put P in front of these now this time. That means we're going to find the probability instead of just finding the numbers. So I want the probability that a student studies art. Well, there are 20 students in the class altogether. So a probability that a student studies art means they're all in this circle. So it's 5 out of 20. Well, obviously we can cancel that down to 1/4. Next one says, what's the probability of A union B? That means, what's the probability that a student studies art or biology? So let's look at students that study either art or biology, which we just wrote down a moment ago was 12. There are 12 students. Okay, so we've got 12 over 20, which cancels down to be 3 over 5. Now we want the probability of A intersection B. Well, that means what's the probability that a student picked at random is going to study art and biology? 2 out of 20. 2 out of 20 cancels down to be 1 over 10. Finally, we've got this direct line down here. This means the probability of A given B. This is conditional probability, which you'll find in another video. But what it means is what's the probability of A given a condition, and that is given the fact that the student has to study biology. So we're only interested in the students that study biology. So there are 9 students only that study biology. So what's the probability of those 9 students that the student studies art? 2 out of 9. So the probability for that is 2 out of 9.